trunk of your car. It's the city's known rap spitter, semi-blown clap niggas. Skin and bones, but really known as that nigga. I'm known to taste the bucks, trying to get my paper up. In the studio, writing rhymes till the paper crunch. I'm not the type that you would call him a thug, but I'm a hustler, it's all in my blood. So if it's all with a cheese, then I'm in it. My screws kinda loose, so I ease to the finish. I hop up in the coupe, feel the breeze while I'm in it. Blowing smoke about the roof from the trees that I'm slipping. Young and got the game on lock, I'm on top. It's a shame you're not. You a lame, put your brain on pop. Leave you wet like the rain on drop. I'm on rock and I ain't gon' stop. Pick up, yeah. Who's the kid spitting flames? Changing the game, his name is Wiz Khalifa, man. From the home of the greats, where they known for the cake. The place that's still city, damn. I got that Pittsburgh sound and I'ma always hold Pittsburgh down. It's Wiz Khalifa, man. You can't tell by now, Pittsburgh, I'ma swell my town. It's still city, damn. Whoa, brother, you don't know what you dealing with. Oh, so innocent, but flow so diligent. My spit game's like a fofo killing shit. Know your man warm, but the young boy killing shit. Real as shit, and your main wife dig me. Dame trying hit me, kick game like 50 cents. Niggas wanna play games out quickly. Lord with a squad that'll bang out with me. And they want the kids still hurting. 100 niggas with hammers, yeah, that's what I call a steel curtain. Ahead of my time and still working. Put in work, couple meal worthing. And I'm from Pittsburgh where the green and the eating is good. And the fiends do everything in the hood. Every day is like a war, so my soldiers rock fatigues in the hood. And we getting all the green like it should. You, yeah. Who's the kid spitting flames? Changing the game, his name is Wiz Khalifa, man. From the home of the greats, where they known for the cake. The place that's still city, damn. I got that Pittsburgh sound and I'ma always hold Pittsburgh down. It's Wiz Khalifa, man. You can't tell by now, Pittsburgh, I'ma swell my town. It's still city, damn. The home of the great, where they known for the cake. Where the money stacking up, put a chrome to your face. You can step out of line and get thrown in the place. That's why I'm a homie, said this whenever. I flow so hard and I spit so sick. Got all of these rap niggas on my tip. My pause, it ain't none of that homo shit. And that's word to the Philly. It's whenever, yeah. Who's the kid spitting flames? Changing the game, his name is Wiz Khalifa, man. From the home of the greats, where they known for the cake. The place that's still city, damn. I got that Pittsburgh sound and I'ma always hold Pittsburgh down. It's Wiz Khalifa, man. You can't tell by now, Pittsburgh, I'ma swell my town. It's still city, damn.
To my trembling lips, how did the night ever get like this? One shot and the whiskey goes down, down, down. Bottom of the bottle hits, waking up my mind as I throw a fit. The breaking is taking me down, down, down. My heart's beating faster, I know what I'm after. Standing here my whole life,
Yes, sir, ladies and gentlemen. It's about that time, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the NFC Championship game featuring an empty CMAS room here in the face cam. We got a real good one here. I don't think it's a matchup that a ton of people were necessarily expecting heading into these playoffs necessarily, but nevertheless, it's going to be a real good one here between two friends, rivals, whatever you want to call them. This is going to be a heated one. I'm really excited for it. I am joined for the second time these playoffs. Divisional rival, quote unquote, divisional lover, everything in the middle. Cody, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. Excited to commentate. Unfortunately, this seems to be a theme for you and I here, where we just get ousted early in the playoffs, and then we become the commentary team all the way through the Super Bowl. It feels like so. Doing good, but knowing that, maybe I could be better because I like to be competing in these games.
Tan already calling me out saying I said ladies and gentlemen twice. Yeah, I mean, it's tough to get bounced early. It's tough to be one and done. But hey, here we are. There's always the commentary booth for us. And this is a really interesting one. This is not like, despite the fact that they interact so much with each other in the chat, and despite the fact that they have so much, history between each other, this is really not a matchup that we've seen a whole ton this cycle. Of course, they played each other, I think it was season 2, if I remember correctly. They played each other in either the wild card or the divisional round, and I remember CMAS had complete control of that game for most of the time, and then the Panthers were able to storm back and win at the end. That was a crazy game, but other than that, I really can't remember a big game necessarily between these two users. Just, overall, of course, we'll get to like both of these users' keys to the game, but what are your overall just impressions of this matchup?
Yeah, I think I completely agree with you. This is going to be a very interesting game. It's going to be a very defensive matchup, I think. You've got two guys with very stout defenses. I think CMAS's defense is probably a little bit better, but it depends on, I guess, what you kind of prioritize as better. I think, at least from what we've seen, it feels like Steele, his D-line, is able to really get after the quarterback. And CMAS does have a good D-line as well, but, CMAS really has just an absolute stacked secondary. So it's kind of this balance of who gets after the quarterback versus who just kind of shuts down all the options, and then you have a bunch of coverage sacks. So it's going to be really an interesting game. A bunch of guys that have played each other, not much this season in BL, but guys that have played each other quite a bit in GIT. And so I'm excited for this game. If I may, I think I'll go ahead and make my prediction here.
Let me go ahead.
I have picked just about every game wrong outside of a few. And my inclination was to say CMAS was going to win. But since I picked every game wrong, I'm going to go with Steele. I'm going to pick Steele in this game. And I think that a lot of people would probably be shocked to see Steele win this. But maybe not shocked, but surprised. But I'm going to go with Steele.
I mean, there's a lot of just disrespect thrown around towards Steele in the chat, maybe some of it for good reason, potentially. I don't know his full history in other leagues, but we saw that Super Bowl from a couple of days ago. It wasn't great, but yeah, it's going to be a really interesting one. I think both of these users are going to be quite a bit more uncomfortable offensively than they were in their previous playoff games. Obviously, Dan, a great user, obviously multiple-time Super Bowl champion, can't take anything away from him, but his defense is not exactly the most intimidating one in the world, doesn't have a ton of abilities. Dan's user, very solid, of course, but not elite, I don't think anyone would say. So, the Panthers seemed relatively comfortable, relatively efficient. And then CMAS played against Kook, and, all of us love Kook, great guy, pretty solid user. He's able to make it to the divisional round, which is better than me, but, not the most intimidating defense in the world either over there in Washington. So we'll see. But, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. Once again, this is the NFC Championship game. We got a real good one here. Panthers, Bears, and it looks like CMAS is going to get the ball first. Chicago in the all whites, Panthers with the black tops and gray bottoms. Cody, your CMAS here. What are the keys to the victory here to make your second straight Super Bowl game?
Seem, I think you got to keep doing what you've been doing. Here he is again. He's got another opportunity to get to the Super Bowl. He's really just done his scheme. He's ran his scheme all last season. He ran his scheme all this year. He really was one play away from winning the Super Bowl last year. And so I think you got to just keep doing you, and you assume you're going to win the game.
CMAS, when everything is working, he has an ultra efficient offense, Obviously, this defense is disruptive. Dante Jackson with like 98 speed, I think, over there, the CB1. He's got a very lethal pass rush. So we're just going to have to see how Tua and company are able to handle it. As we have a PA counter here. Tagovailoa immediately goes to the dump off. We're going to see a whole lot more of that. Saquon Barkley already gets loose. Barkley takes it to the 44. We're going to see a whole lot of that from CMAS. Whenever those flats are open, he's going to take him. Gain of 18.
Yeah, a bit interesting, to be honest, to see Steele kind of stack the box as heavy as he did, because we know like CMAS isn't definitely not a very run heavy user, so it was interesting. It felt like he just kind of opened that play action for CMAS.
Inside zone there, and unable to get much of anything going, and this was an issue for CMAS in his game against Kook, and despite the fact that he was able to win that game, it was a lot tighter than I think most of us thought it was going to be heading in, and a lot of that was because of Kook's lethal run defense. Saquon Barkley was pretty much shut down that game. At one point, he was something like 20 for 35 attempts in yards, so it's going to be real tough, and this is a classic CMAS play here. Three-man rush. He will once again immediately go to the dump off. Windsor unable to do much for it, and this is the first third down of the game here, 3rd and 7.
Yeah, really big drive here, I think, for the Panthers and Steele. You really want to come out and stop this offense and get a shot to go put points up on the board.
1,000%. Yeah, got to put the scoreboard pressure on CMAS here early because, you can force him to mistakes. But again, when he's up, he's one of the best front runners in the league in terms of like when he's up, when he's dumping it down. It's real tough to stop. Tagovailoa drops back, goes to the team shot, intercepted by McLeod. And will this be a pick six? Obviously, it's not, but takes it to the 45. Shaky read from CMAS. Again, something we did not see against Kook, but that's that Panthers defense for you, man. A lot of speed and a huge momentum shift here. 1st and 10 for the Panthers.
A lot of speed and definitely, and I think it's honestly a very underrated defense in terms of the league. When people think of the top defenses, I other than maybe, his NFC South opponents, I'm not sure a lot of people would say Steele's a feared defender and a feared defense, but he definitely is.
As Givens with the handoff here. Givens with a really nice shoe. Givens has room, just gets tackled there. A little diving shoestring tackle there by O'Daniel, but nice run there from Steele. And I'll ask you the exact same question. Steele's offensive keys to the game here to beat CMAS.
Yeah, I think his offensive keys to the game is he needs to have a equally efficient, if not more efficient game than as he had when he played Dan. He needs to really limit the mistakes against his defense and put the pressure on CMAS all game long.
Yeah, against Dan, we really only saw Jordan Love make one questionable read. Other than that, it was purely efficient. He will drop back, goes to the dump off. DJ Moore, we're going to see.
Maybe that's a pick. Just turn
we're going to see a whole lot more of that, and I will love CMAS's audio on, obviously. It's highly entertaining. But, DJ Moore, target number 1 here for this Panthers offense, 2nd and 9.
Yeah, tough read there. The route concepts were kind of right on top of each other, so not a lot of opportunity to get some yards there.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird play from the start. As CMAS had it bagged up, this is an RPO Givens with not much going there. Gain of 3 on what ended up being an inside zoner now. 3rd and 6, and Steele, not the most efficient user in the league in these situations. You can sometimes force him into mistakes, despite the fact that he is, so efficient when he's kind of ahead of the 8 ball in terms of the down and distance. So we'll see what he's able to do. The opportunity here for CMAS to potentially get a defensive stop of his own coming out in that cover 3 buzz, a preferred play call of the Cleveland Browns there, 3rd and 6 against 6:30 remaining in this first quarter. Jordan Love, so efficient against Dan. He will drop back 4-man rush, does not get through. Jordan Love takes off, goes down. The blitz finally got through. Allen with the sack, and that may take him out of field goal range potentially. We'll see. But a big stop there for the Bears.
Yeah, it's going to be close. Going to be close. Not sure what the kick. Yeah, it looks like he's going to have to punt here. I really liked the run he used on 2nd down to make it a 3rd and short, but unfortunately that Bears defense that is very, one of the top defenses in the league, it just absolutely swarmed every single receiver on the field and wasn't anything there. Jordan Love tried to get back to the line of scrimmage with a little scramble, but the D-line collapsed on him.
It sure did, yeah, and he had a decent pocket. Jordan Love was able to stand there for 3-4 seconds, but eventually you can't hold down that Bears defense for too long. They will get through 1st and 10. Tagovailoa and company taking the field for the 2nd time, and again CMAS will hand this ball off. Saquon Barkley has room. Saquon Barkley not quite with the speed there, but yeah, touchdown saving tackle as CMAS said, but good run, 1st and 10.
Yeah, that was a nice little trip shoelace tackle there. Not sure who it was. It looked like it was a DB, so great tackle.
Beautiful tackle, and now again CMAS really trying to establish the run game. It looks like we have a counter to the right here. Barkley not much doing, and Talking about this Panthers defense real quick, you mentioned that it was underrated. I think a lot of people kind of associate the defense primarily the secondary because it's got a really, really fast, almost Browns level, fast secondary back there. But this front four is nothing to play with either, man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, this D line is very, very good. I mean, they will attack the passer all game long, make you uncomfortable. You got to make sure you make the right reads if you're CMAS all game long.
1,000%, yeah, second and 8. And Steele, they know each other very well. Steele knows a lot of CMAS's preferred concept. Saquon Barkley, nothing doing there. And that will be a 3rd and 7. Saquon 4 for 14. And, you mentioned Cody is going to be a defensive game, and that's what we have so far, despite the short field. Again, 3rd and 7 looks like he's, again, another preferred CMAS concept here, coming out with kind of a PA crossers set as he continues to make adjustments here. He will drop back 3rd and 7. Beverly takes away the flats. Oh no! He attempted again by Toonin. This may actually be a big 6. He runs right to the Bears. 2 straight picks by Tungavailoa and CMAS. Little shaky here so far with these reads. 1st and 10.
I really like what Steele did with his user there. He followed one of the verts just enough, then bit down on the drag, but he was using his outside linebacker, and so not his outside, but one of the outside linebackers there, and so it kind of made CMAS bite into that throw, but he had an AI linebacker sitting right there waiting for it.
Travis Kelce, former Kansas City Chief, there with the dump-off gain of 9, and of course neither user able to get points on the board, but Carolina knocking on the doorstep here, and Young Alex saying 2 inside stuffs and a fast edge threat. Disgusting defense. It is very, very hard to move the ball against these Carolina Panthers, as many users have found out, including Dan just a few short hours ago. Again, 2nd and 1. This will be a handoff to Givens. Givens unable to do much, but he will fall forward for the first down. Nice animation. Gain of 2 and a first down.
Yeah. We'll be excited for Madden 22 when some of these, I don't hate the reach for it. I just think, it was the first year of implementation of reach for it, and it just is a bit AIDS at time, if you will. With these
it's obnoxious. It's real obnoxious sometimes, but and listen, I've benefited from it as much as anyone, but it's bad Givens with the strong power concept. They're unable to do much of anything. Really the first true stop there, Eric Armstead with the tackle, and again, we've been mentioning this Panthers defense, the 2 inside stuffs, the edge threat, the ultra fast secondary. This Bears you were saying, Cody, that this Bears defense may be even more intimidating than the Panthers.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is maybe the best defense in the league, definitely a top 3 defense in the league, and so Steele's gonna have to have a very efficient game on offense.
This will be a handoff. Good play call. Givens has room. Just unable. Wait, will they give it to him? No, they do not. But again, Givens falls forward. They'll be 3rd inches. Tough.
Oh, that's tough. The first down is like literally on the goal line. They might as well have just made it. A goal to go situation. So that's very unfortunate for Steele that Madden kind of gave him a first down line that's basically on the goal line.
Yeah, tough scene there. Tough scene for Steele. But here we are again, 3rd and inches. 2 opportunities. Punches in. Goes with a toss, and Givens gets wrapped up. Interesting play call there. I'll use my tosses sometimes, but he did not have the numbers advantage there at any point. And now taking his 3, this feels like a real missed opportunity for Steele.
Yeah, I don't hate it. This is the first Steele has sniffed of the playoffs in a while. He came out as the 1 seed. He's now, he's defensively wise, he's kind of commanded this game, and I think it would do more damage for him to go for it and not get any points than it would for him to settle for a field goal. I think field goal, you think, all right, I got points on the board, I'm feeling confident, so I don't hate the decision, but we'll see if it bites him in the butt.
We have a new follower, the Zazbear, in the chat saying, Hi, man. Welcome to the Better League Network. This is our NFC Championship game. We should have the Super Bowl tomorrow. Saquon Barkley. I don't love CMAS's the yelling, the screaming. There's been a lot of it. I know he's fired up to play Steele, but CMAS is always at his best when he's locked in, calm and composed, like he was against Austin in the Super Bowl, and we're not seeing that so far. 2nd and 6.
Definitely, and I think it was a good little fall trip there. I mean, he kind of juked directly into 3 offensive linemen, so he was likely going to kind of fall on someone there.
1,000%. Yeah, 2nd and 6. He will drop back. Tagovailoa goes to the dump off. Saquon Barkley able to make a man miss. Makes two men miss, but gets that wrap-up tackle there.
Weird.
And
What a weird throw.
yeah, I mean, again, if there's any user that really knows CMAS like inside and out in terms of his scheme, it is probably Steele. Other than his divisional opponents, I should say that. But like, if there's any outside division opponent that knows him, it's probably Steele. You know, they put each other against so many times in various leagues, as you mentioned. And yes, welcome to the stream. Thank you, Young Alex, for saying that. 3rd and 1. Tagovailoa once again not able to get too much going already with 2 interceptions. We have a handoff here. Barkley with nothing, although again falls forward. I think they'll give him the first there.
Thank God.
Yep, 1st and 10. Yep. Again, the animations go both ways here.
And you know, yep, exactly. Yeah, and Steele had one last time. Barkley got one this time. Those little roll tackles, they're just so frustrating.
And Ben's watching the stream, and I just want to say, Ben, like,
I didn't mean to do that.
I miss you, man. I don't know what happened to us, but I miss chatting with you. I miss being buds. Saquon Barkley again, handoff there, gain of 3, and man, this first quarter flew by. Excuse me, good lord, doesn't feel like it should be over by now. But end of the first, 3-0, and this is the defensive game we were both expecting here, Cody. 3-0 Panthers.
Yeah, definitely. This is I think really gearing up to be a really great game.
It could potentially be, yeah. We'll see who makes more mistakes. Tagovailoa drops that, goes right to Beverly, although Graham unable to catch it, and again, threw it right to the user. If Steele just played that a bit better, that's a 3rd interception. I don't know about these reads.
Yeah, and that's the linebackers. We all know Madden 21, these linebackers don't animate very well, and so I think CMAS tried to throw it there, but there was still a defender over the top. That was a tough read there by CMAS.
It was just, despite the linebacker, it was just a crowded read regardless. Tagovailoa drops back, has nothing. He will go to the dump off, although Barkley drops it!
Yeah, the linebacker right there on Barkley. Really good defense on that linebacker to not overcommit once he saw Tua leave the pocket. Stayed with his man. Then Tua tried to dump it down to him, made the contact, and Saquon wasn't able to hold on to it. I mean, Steele's defense so far is very – I mean, both these defense very locked down, but Steele's been able to get the turnovers at least to put him in position to score. We'll be interested to see how Steele responds now that he's got points on the board to see if he can go get some more.
Yeah, this does feel like, not to project too far ahead as Jordan Love will drop back. Doesn't really have anything going. He will take off for a gain of 5, but – there are very few defenses, like team-wise at least, that can, even somewhat contain Austin. But Steele, man, he's got just so many weapons out there. Like, you could potentially see a scenario where Austin maybe gets a little, like, not shook, obviously, but he gets a little uncomfortable playing this Carolina Panthers defense. But again, that's way in advance. Austin hasn't even won his game yet, much less Steele. So
a shot, do it.
I shouldn't even talk about that yet. 2nd and 5. Blitz gets through. Corner routes Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce has room.
Bro.
Jackson gets him out of bounds. But again, these quick hitting routes hitting here for Jordan Love. 3 for 3 and another first down for Carolina.
Right.
Yeah, and I like to see Travis Kelce getting involved here because it was funny. Austin and I had a conversation after Steele beat Dan, and I was saying, think of how lethal this team could be had they still had Stephon Gilmore, how lethal this defense could be. And so, this defense just could be potentially better than the Bears defense. But, they made the move to trade Gilmore to the Chiefs, got Kelce. I can't remember what – I think they got Tune as well. So they added to their defense still. But yeah, I don't know. So, if you trade for Kelce, I want to see you use him. So good to see him get involved.
Whoa.
Goes to the dump off. Givens has room. The block. Oh my goodness. Givens just runs through number 39. Eddie Jackson there feeling the brunt of Givens. And this is pretty much what we saw against Dayton. Steele just making these nice, just safe reads, not trying to do too much offensively. It hasn't been explosive, but he's moving the ball here. 1st and 10. And again, Jordan Love setting up here. We have a trips concept. This is a handoff. Givens, who had a bit of a hole there, unable to utilize it, but still able to fall forward. Again, a 4, 2nd and 6.
So far, a pretty efficient drive out of Steele here. I think this is exactly what he needs. I think, ending in points is going to be good for Steele's mentality no matter what, his confidence no matter what. But if he gets 7, I think he's going to be feeling really good about himself.
Yeah, real good whenever you can make CMAS uncomfortable. We have a handoff here. Inside stuff does not get through. Givens, he whiffs on the tackle and then dives. Touchdown, Panthers!
All over the field.
Yeah, I mean, and so far, Steele has, has just played a really good game, a really clean game. That's exactly what I said that I thought he needed to do. He's got a great defense, just like CMAS. CMAS has been the one to make the mistakes, and Steele hasn't made mistakes. And I think a lot of people, I think what's helping Steele is I feel like potentially, I mean, obviously he was the 1 seed and and played Dan, but I feel like potentially people just sleep on Steele a little bit because he hasn't made the playoffs and stuff like that. But I kind of see Steele in the same vein as Morty a little bit, where it's like if he gets hot and he gets going, he's pretty tough to beat.
Yeah, Steele really tough to beat, especially with this team, but he's also, he's got the scheme to match almost, he's very safe reads, just seems like he does the right thing more often than not, and we'll see what he does here. He will hand it off again. Barkley, nothing doing whatsoever, and I don't know, CMAS just looks uncomfortable. Like, he doesn't seem, like, super rattled necessarily, but he really just has not been able to get going offensively, like, at all here.
Yeah, and maybe credit to Steele's run user. He's really shutting Barkley down and kind of forcing CMAS to do these second longs, third and longs, which I think is making him uncomfortable.
Goes down, number 53 there. Brian Burns with the sack. Miss him from Madden 18, man. He was a dominant force with those Panthers, man. But now, third and very long, and again, CMAS has just really had nothing available to him all game. It's not even that he's, like, missing a ton of reads necessarily. It's just like Steele's just been all over everything he wants to do. Third and 19, he will drop back, goes to the seam shot. Darren Waller with that huge catch. Some type of momentum here for the Bears. Getting 29 in the first down.
Yeah, really did not like that route. I've seen CMAS use that play a couple of times. I really don't like that play in that route combo, but was able to force it in there to really tightly to Darren Waller, and Darren Waller did what he does, and that's make big plays.
This will be a slip screen here. Saquon Barkley may have room. The lead block hits, although nice diving tackle there, was unable to hold the block. And CMAS complaining about a lot here, but ultimately at midfield, 2nd and 7, with the opportunity to potentially get just a little bit of momentum back on the side. And this is one of the things that's a bit predictable about CMAS. Every time it's a trio concept, you have to assume it's an RPO. There it is, an RPO. Barkley able to fall forward for another first down.
Yeah, and honestly, I wouldn't have been shaking my head. I mean, he only picked up 3 yards, but it was a screen. That's kind of CMAS's version of the run game is, Barkley on a screen, these RPOs, that type of stuff. And so, any type of momentum, I feel like at this point is good for CMAS. He just got to really kind of get out of his own head at this point.
First 10 inside stuff gets through, although nice juke. Saquon Barkley jukes to the right into 3 different Panthers. But starting to make a little bit happen here, a gain of 5. And Alex, I disagree. I don't think CMAS seems like super rattled, but I mean, we'll have to see. Maybe the reads will prove me wrong here. 2nd and 5. And again, loves the play action in the passing game. We will see more of that here. Tagovailoa drops back, doesn't really have anything available. He will throw it up, and Cooper Kupp just nothing there, and the throw was inaccurate anyway. Okay. 3rd and 5.
Yeah, Brian Burns once again just eating that right tackle's just eating him up. I mean, he's just getting some really nice sheds right now. He's the edge threat. He's the speedster. You got to watch him all game long.
3rd and 5. He will drop back, goes to the flats. Saquon Barkley, huge tackle there by Clark to make it 4th and 1, and we have no huddle, which I really like in this situation. Got to pinch the D-line here, which he does, but again, setting up for this RPO, which again seems a little predictable here potentially. We'll see if Steele is able to sniff it out. I don't think CMAS likes the look.
Maybe questioning it.
Yeah.
See, and I don't know. I like the look, and if you're CMAS right there, the reason I liked it is Steele showed that he was using the linebacker. Sure, he could have clicked off, but the linebacker was in a position and he scooched him in. And so I don't know. I would have pulled it assuming that Steele was on the linebacker and the next closest DB was over the second wide. He was over top of the second wide receiver. Obviously, I think at the point where CMAS is right now, he wanted to get some points. But for me personally, I actually liked the look and thought, in my head, I was like, hike it. But yeah, I think he just wanted his 30.
Oh my God, he should. But I'm gonna trust you on that because you obviously know way more than me about Madden. But to me, it wasn't a great look. But I trust what you were saying there. I would have quick snapped it if anything, which is what Alex was saying before he was able to pinch his D line. But sounds like we may have a doubleheader here. It sounds like the Austin Little Alex game may be happening right after this. Cody, I have to ask, are you good for a doubleheader potentially?
God damn it. What? 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 What?
Of course.
I was coming for
All right,
that
let's
pick
get it. It's going to be me and Cody right
hard
after
with
this
the
as
corner,
well.
bro. Damn.
Second one, and
Great block by his wide
yeah,
receiver.
CMAS, yeah,
I was
he's a
coming and taking that
little,
for 6, baby. I
I don't know.
coming and
I
taking that
still
for
don't
6.
love CMAS's
God,
demeanor.
block.
Yeah, and that's the kind of. I mean, I don't have him turned on right now. Maybe I should turn it up so I can hear it a little bit more. But yeah, I agree. I think when I play my worst is when I'm getting frustrated. It's the second quarter and it's a 7-point game. You got to just keep your head in it.
Yeah. I'm just thinking back as we have a handoff who Givens has room. Givens, as O'Daniel just misses again on the diving tackle, able to get all the way to the 40.
Tackle, man.
You know, obviously he lost the Super Bowl against Austin, but he played very well. And you remember him in the face cam, just like very calm, very stoic, not getting particularly rattled. And right here, yeah, he's just like every time Steele gets positive play, it's just like complaining, and I don't love it, but you know.
Yeah, and it's tough. I think. I'll let you call it play, and I'll say why it's tough.
For sure. First and 10 here. We are approaching the 2-minute warning here. Jordan Love drops back 4-man rush. Goes to dump off again. Travis Kelce falls backwards. Going to cost himself a yard there. Loss of one. And yeah, go ahead and say your piece there, Cody.
Yeah, I think it's hard because I think it's easier to get frustrated against the guy that you've played a lot. So obviously, CMAS and Steele haven't played a lot in BL, but they have a lot of history in GIT. And so it's the same kind of like I feel like when I play Justin and I get down, I start to get frustrated, but you really just got to keep your head on your shoulders, especially in the playoffs.
Yeah, you do. And it's difficult. You know, I've been there plenty of times, Lord knows, but we'll see what he does. Dump off here, DJ Moore, not with too much. And we really have yet to see Steele take a deep shot yet. It might be out of respect for this, lethal Chicago Bears secondary, but a whole lot of dump offs here. And, Jordan Love still yet thrown in completion, third net.
The play.
Yeah, and Alex in the chat, plenty of time for some Steele reads. I agree, Alex, but at the same time, Steele has been nothing but efficient so far in his game versus Dan and now in this game. I don't know if Jordan Love has an incomplete pass yet.
Yeah, he threw only 3, I think, incompletions, and one of them was on an overthrow by against Dan. So yeah, Steele just seems locked in right now. Oh my goodness, a huge third down conversion. CMAS, yeah, CMAS needs to tighten up right now. Like he's not a happy camper, and I get it, but he's not going to beat Steele if he's being like this first and time.
Yeah, I think my biggest advice I could give to him if he could hear me would be look at the scoreboard. It's 10-3. Play bend but don't break. If you make him settle for a field goal, it's a victory for you.
Yeah, he's really not that bad of a situation yet, so we'll have to see what he does. Given on the inside zone, their gain of 3. Now Chicago calling timeouts. They want the ball back. Do you like the timeout there by CMAS, I have to ask?
I don't because he has 2 left. And so I think if anything, he's just giving Steele more time to kind of figure out what he wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, Steele's already locked in. I would try to hurry this up, if anything. Even though you can't really control the tempo on defense, I would just make Steele have to keep thinking here. Slip screen here. Givens has blocking, unable to do too much there. Nice tackle there. And Chicago burning their last time out here, which, I don't hate it at this point, but yeah. Carolina.
Yeah, and he executed, and so we said we hated it, but he called that on second down because he felt confident he could stop him there and give him to a third down. But so we'll see if we can stop him and here before and hold him to 3.
Jordan Love drops back 4-man rush again. The pass rush not getting there. DJ Moore gets killed, although unable to get the first down. And I like being aggressive in the playoffs, but if I'm Carolina here, I feel very good about letting this time run down and taking my 3, honestly, because you get the ball to start the second, too. So 13-3, I'll take it.
Steele always bitches about
100% agree. And this is why I didn't like him using the timeout, is because I'm okay with him, because I don't think Steele was going to necessarily let the clock run down all the way on second down. He was probably just going to kind of let the game come to him and let it flow. Whereas he could have saved 2 timeouts, used 1 on third, used 1 on fourth, and then CMAS would have had some time to see if maybe he could have get something going on his first couple plays. Whereas now he's about to have practically no time, and you're going to get into a situation where like CMAS got to really make sure he doesn't make a mistake, kind of like Alex did right before half against Austin.
And I'm going to step out for like 20 seconds to grab some water because I'm dying right now, but I'll be back probably in time for this next play.
No, that works. We'll pop on over in the chat here. Let's see. Reminds me of Austin versus Justin a few seasons ago. Yeah. I agree with you, Alex. Austin was very, very fired up versus Justin. I think he ultimately ended up winning that game, but it was closer than it needed to be, I think, because Austin was definitely like getting like kind of super frustrated. And I'll call the plays. It might be a little bit off here, but talking with Vailoa, with the screen to Barkley. A lot of room. Doesn't get out of bounds, though. Really bad decision by Barkley. Going to have to go no huddle, but they go to a spike. 17 seconds left. He should have just, once he got past that next level of blocking, I really think Barkley should have been sprinting. Barkley and CMAS using him should have sprinted straight to the sideline. But seemed like he got a little bit greedy for the first down there. And now 17 seconds, ball in the 34. This is a tall task to get any kind of points. I just don't think it's possible at this point. If it were me, I'd just be running this and taking it to half. But
yeah, horrible decision there. You're right. As he takes the deep shot to Darren Waller and again drops it. And I mean, that's tough. You can't really expect to get that read off against a user or against a secondary, I should say, of this quality, especially with all the speed. But I have to say, it looks like this can be the score heading at halftime unless something crazy happens. But man, we've just the Chicago Bears offense has just no-showed so far. Like, he's not been able to get anything going.
Yeah, and Steele's been, I was looking at Steele's schedule and to Steele's credit, he really hasn't, outside of Dan and here Austin, in which he got destroyed, and maybe a couple other. I mean, he tied Alex. He really hasn't played a lot of really stiff competition this season. So for him to come in, beat Dan pretty handily, and then now do this in the first half, he is looking very good right now.
He's looking real good. We have a dump off here. DJ Moore unable to get out of bounds. Will he call timeout?
Yeah,
he does not. That will do it for the first half. 13-3. Panthers. Very defensive game, as we were saying, although you got to give Steele credit, man. Looking every bit as efficient as he did against Dan. Still, I believe you have to throw an incompletion. Up by 10, about to get the ball. And, obviously there's a lot that CMAS needs to fix, but if you're in CMAS's position here, what do you think is the one or two key things he needs to get a grip on here in order to, flip the script here in the second half?
Yeah, I think you're just going to have to try to breathe, try not to get as frustrated. Play bend but don't break. Even if Steele drives down and gets a field goal, there's plenty of time in this game for you to turn this around. So just keep calm, cool, and collective.
Givens has room. Givens with a power concept, and he has all kinds of green grass. Gain of 28 there, I believe. Givens 12